أحد أبرز الأسماء في عالم الفيفا هو ضيف اليوم على قناة فلسطين. طبعا تاريخ حافل بالمواقف الخاصة بالفيفا ككل بالملف الفلسطيني بشكل خاص. جوزيف سيب بلاتر هو ضيف هذا اليوم في هذا اللقاء الخاص. Mr. Blatter, it's a big pleasure to meet you.
Salam alaikum.
عليكم السلام. As much as I know as a journalist, I know that too many people in the Arab countries, especially in Palestine, love this name and adore the name of Blatter. Why do you think? Why do you think they love you this way?
Well, I have to say that this is a love which is shared by me towards all these countries, the Arabic world, the world totally, because football is for everybody. But there are specific countries where I'm, let's say, attached more than others. And one of these countries definitely is Palestine. And my first effective memory of Palestine was in 1999, when there was still possible to take a plane and to land in Gaza, because there was a small airport. And we were there, an official delegation of FIFA at the time. I was just elected president a year before. I was accompanied by the president of the Asian Football Confederation, Mohammed bin Hammam. I was accompanied by Michel Platini. At that time, he was working for me. He has just finished his career as a football player and as an organizer of the World Cup. And the other person with me was Jérôme Champagne, who is well known also in Palestine now, and who was my personal advisor. So we arrived there, and we were received. I remember always this moment by a very strong man. I met him for the first time, and this was General Rajoub and Jibril. And why? Because he was the commander of the security of Nasser Arafat. And we had the pleasure then to go from Gaza to Ramallah. But it was a long journey. We have been stopped everywhere because it was the first time it was checkpoints. But finally we arrived, and I remember it was a small office, the second, I think, second or third of the house there, the floor of the house, with a view. I remember later on, I had the same impression when the first time I met Mandela. When I met Mandela, that was the same impression I had.
What's the relation?
The relation was that it was the same small office. It was not a big office. In one side you had a man already in full power, which is Arafat. And then the other hand, it was a man who just came out of prison. He was not yet in power, but I made this combination just now by speaking with you, and really this gives me emotion when I make this comparison. And then we met Yasser Arafat. For me, that was a historical moment, and it was so nice also from his part. He didn't know me. The only man in our group who was known was Michel Platini as a player. He's a player, yeah. And this is my first, let's say, entry in Palestine, and at this very moment, from the landing in Gaza and going to Ramallah and being accompanied by General Rajoub, has for me also this connection with this man, who now is playing a very big part also in politics, yes, and who definitely is the president of the football and president of the National Olympic Committee. And that's why I would say it was the day I lost my heart. J'ai perdu mon cœur pour la Palestine.
كيف ترى الفرق في الكرة الفلسطينية عندما ذهبت إلى هناك أول مرة وما بعد ذلك ليومنا هذا؟
It was, I wouldn't say nothing because it existed something. Yeah. But if you make a comparison of what has been at the time, yeah, 1999, and what has been in 2015 or beginning 2016 when I left the FIFA, there's a big difference in the organization. And there was also a lot of help, I would say, from FIFA. There was also a lot of help from Arab neighboring countries towards Palestine, and specifically it was the organization, the big organization of the Football Association. They later become member of FIFA, and then the organization of women's football. Yeah. It was very important, with a young lady already at that time. She was the captain of the team, I remember, Hani Talche. He's now working in the big FIFA. She has a wonderful job, but she's doing a wonderful job there. And I remember then when it was the official opening of women's football, President Abbas was present. And this was another historical point. And then we went on to develop the game there. And it was also I would say my love for this country and for all Palestinians. And as I am working also for geopolitics, I have seen the difficulty this country to be with their neighbors, mm-hmm, or together with the Israeli. And then we tried to help at least football, to try with football to create a better, let's say, a better atmosphere. And football build bridges, football bring people together, and we tried to do it. And I think we came to a certain point where it would have been possible to do it, at least in football. Yes. At least in football. Yes. What was my disappointment when I have heard later how this matter was dealt with by the new administration of FIFA, and that now I know that the Palestine Football Association is now appealing to the TAS, to the Tribunal Arbitral of Sport in Lausanne. Mm-hmm. And this is a pity, because this could have been solved by sporting means. It has been agreed that if there is a decision by a committee of the United Nations, it goes for the playing rights in different stadia, mm-hmm, and this should have been accepted by FIFA. And then the solution would have been there. Now it will take some time. I do hope it will be done.
كيف يمكنك تسوية مثل هذه القضايا؟
Well, listen, I'm not any longer in FIFA, but definitely what was wrong is when it has been said it is a decision by the Congress, then it must go to the Congress, and the Congress has the final decision. You cannot take it out from the Congress and put it to a committee. Mm-hmm. This is not the way.
This is not the right way to...
This is not the right way, and I think when it comes to formalities, I think the Tribunal Arbitral du Sport, they will have a look on that. It's not the right way how it should have been dealt with in FIFA.
Many changes came to FIFA after you left. It's been 3 years, I think, since you left FIFA.
You know, I left FIFA or I had to leave FIFA because I was suspended.
Yes.
Suspended by a sports authority, FIFA's authority, FIFA sport. I was suspended at the moment when I have said I put my mandate at disposal and give me time to reorganize what is wrong in FIFA, if there was something wrong.
Yes.
So we can reorganize it. And then at a sudden I am suspended. I am still suspended. I'm still suspended. But I have never been out as a president. I'm still elected president of FIFA,
Yes.
but suspended.
Yes.
And I fight now against this suspension. We will see if it's possible, but I think there is a good start into this matter.
Yes. After all those years in FIFA, more than 40 years in FIFA, is it time to talk about this period, the last few years of your life with FIFA wasn't enough respectful, I think, for you. Is it time now to talk? You are away. You're free to talk.
Yes, sure. I'm free to talk. But what was wrong in FIFA?
Yes.
What was wrong in FIFA is that in 2011, we have decided a totally reform of FIFA, and we have installed a special committee to do so. Yeah. And then we have already taken decisions in 2011, very important one, and one was that the future of the World Cup, the World Cup will be elected by the whole Congress, by the 209, now 211 national associations, that there shall be at least one woman in the FIFA Executive Committee, and that the Ethics Committee shall have two chambers, one chamber of investigation and one chamber of decision. Furthermore, we will have a committee, and this has not yet been installed, or it has been installed later, to certify and to control the members of the FIFA Executive Committee, because to make sure that the members of the FIFA Committee are those they deserve to be there, and to have a control of probity, moral control, what they are. And it was all well done. There was a special delegation of the FIFA Executive Committee by the president of this committee was the German president at that time, Zwanziger, his name, Dr. Zwanziger. And then he started to discuss, and he said, now, we have a committee which will look into let's say the moral, ethical attitude of all the members of the committee. And then there was an opposition by UEFA. And who was the spokesman in UEFA at that time? The Secretary General, Infantino, who is the actual president. And he said, in no way, we, Europe, we let a FIFA committee make a control of our members. We don't accept that.
Okay.
And then the other confederations, they said, if Europe will not do it, so why we should be submitted to this control? The result is that now Infantino, he has the problem with all these people. They have been arrested by the American justice, and they have nothing to do in the activity of FIFA, but they had to do with the activities in the Confederation. This is the case which is dealt with in New York. But afterwards, what was absolutely not, I would say nobody would understand that you have, when I left FIFA, the finances were highly profitable. We had $1.4 billion in reserves and $1 billion in cash. It's a little bit too much to have so much cash, but that was there. And we had a good projection in the future. Well, and then he came in as the president, and he changed, with one exception, the whole management. The whole management of FIFA. The management on the level of the direction, the management, and on the second level as well. All the know-how went out. All the know-how. How can you change the know-how in 2 or 3 months? That's not possible. Bon. But coming to football now.
Yes.
To football. Football is a wonderful game and still is played everywhere, and there is a lot of popularity in all the countries. The competitions, inside, outside, especially the international competition, club competitions, but remains the number one is the World Cup. But coming back now, what has changed there is, first of all, that the new FIFA has decided to play the World Cup with 48 teams. 48 teams. Well, that's a decision. But to play in group by 3, this is impossible. Because in group by 3, where we have already played one World Cup in group by 3, and it was the World Cup in '82 in Spain, and in playing in group by 3, you have always a spectator. And in the last match, there is an open play for not adopt fair play. That's an invitation to make arrangements, but this is absolutely wrong. Okay, but 48. That's not the right number, but they have decided to do so. Then, secondly, they have changed in the game. We started to put technology in the game, and we had the goal line technology, and it worked. And then I proposed it after having seen the World Cup in South Africa in the match between Germany and England. The ball was 70 centimeters behind the line, and nobody has seen it. So I said it's a must to change, and we changed it. We changed it.
Mr. Blatter, we were talking about World Cup, and you said many changes are. Many new changes came into this game. Can you explain more, please?
Yeah, I said that in the future to play with 48 teams in groups by 3. But the World Cup 2018 now in Russia, there will be something else which they try to put in. And this is the so-called television refereeing. It means VAR. It's called VAR. It means video assistant referee. Mm-hmm. And this is a very interesting initiative, but it is very difficult to apply because it's not so easy. And therefore there is a phase of experiments, but now it seems that the International Football Association Board, they are the guardians of the laws of the game, they have accepted the principle. Mm-hmm. But okay, the principle can be accepted. But it seems also that FIFA now want to experiment this in the World Cup. Okay. And I think this is not a good idea. I'm not the only one. It's also international media, players, coaches, referees. They even say, no, the World Cup is not an experimental field for such practice, which will change fundamentally the role of the referee on the field of play.
Yes, any more changes in the World Cup after?
No, afterwards there is still the big question, the World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Yes. There is a lot of problems around this Qatari World Cup. But for the time being, Qatar is still the organizer of the World Cup. And now let's have first the World Cup in Russia with 32 teams. And with these 32 teams, there will be, I'm sure, a wonderful World Cup in a good ambience.
You are mentioning Qatar, World Cup in Qatar. Is it in danger somehow with the elections ahead between Morocco and the USA?
Yes, that's a good question. That's a good question. Yes, naturally now Qatar is for 22, but now 26 there shall be a new World Cup.
Yeah.
And here we have had the big United States coming in, and now they say together with Mexico and with Canada, we are very strong, we will do it. And then the last minute, not last minute, it is now Qatar, not Qatar, Morocco. The Kingdom of Morocco is coming in.
Yeah.
And the Kingdom of Morocco has a lot of experience to go for the World Cup, because they have been candidates 5 times, and twice they were in the final approach to be elected. Mm-hmm. So they have, but the problem is now, for me, it is a problem of principles, because in 2002, by taking the decision, FIFA, and this was one of my initiatives, already as Secretary General and then as a President, the World Cup shall go around the world, yeah, and not only in the Americas, so north or south, or in Europe.
Yes.
So we started in Korea and Japan, then we came back to Germany, but then it went to Africa. Yeah. And the 2010, then to Brazil, and now we know where it's go. 14 Brazil, 18, 22, 26. So why I am in favor of Morocco? It's not only because I am, I find it very pleasant that they are again, but it's a principle, because we have taken the decision in FIFA after the difficulties we have had to organize the World Cup in 2002 with 2 nations, mm-hmm, or 2 countries.
Yes.
Korea and Japan. It was I would say it was a nightmare to organize. So we have said, as long as one country is able to do so, then they shall do it. And we have applied this already in 2010 for Africa, because there was a combined candidature between Libya, mm-hmm, and Tunisia. Yeah. And we have eliminated them because we have the principle not 2 if there is one single. And at the end there was between Morocco and South Africa, and South, yes, Africa won. Then in 2018, now for 2018, we have eliminated Spain and Portugal, because they are together, and Belgium and Netherlands. So now the only one who can do it alone is Morocco. So Morocco should be or shall be the only candidate, because the others are 3. Mm-hmm. That's a question of principle. I say also a question of sympathy, but it's a question of principle.
Will the world accept 2 Arab countries to organize the FIFA, the World Cup? Qatar and then Morocco?
The FIFA has permitted to a lot of Christian and other countries, white or whatever, Aryans or black, but we shall not be into the grouping of people. FIFA is for everybody, and we should never speak about now we have to go to Arab. No, I say we can only go around the world, mm-hmm, and we want to be in all the continents. But we shall take away, yeah, all what is politics, religion, and racism.
But as you know, politics is a part of sport. And if we wanted to talk about this, we can remember the case of Palestine and Israel. FIFA has been accused more than once in the past few years of not respecting, of yes, bending, and of even breaking its own rules. Why did FIFA make its rules so elastic? It is elastic somehow, don't you think so?
Well, listen, this is the FIFA after Blatter.
Yes.
I'm not any longer in FIFA. I'm still suspended. I have always to say I'm suspended in this
Yes.
FIFA. So, but the Congress in 2015, when I was the president, has taken the decision that we shall give the problem which is not solved concerning the fields of play, who has the right to use these fields of play, we shall give it to the United Nations, and they shall give their appreciation of the situation, and we shall go with that.
But the resolution is clear.
Yeah, in the meantime, the resolution has come, and but it has not been applied.
Why not?
Yeah, because why not? You cannot ask me why not, because I was not there. But it shall be applied, and that's why now the way to go to the International Sports Tribunal in Lausanne is the right way that Palestinian football has chosen, and with all these arguments, I am confident they will get back their rights, or they will send it back to FIFA by saying, now you have to deal it according to decisions taken by the Congress, because you cannot change decisions taken by the Congress by a simple committee. That's the problem.
And this point exactly, the FIFA's motto of "We do sport, not politics." This is c'est le contraire là. Don't you think so?
But the football, the Olympic Games, or the sport in general, has taken such an importance in our world. If I take only football, there is 1.6 billion people in the world. They are directly or indirectly linked with the game of football. So it means only football is has the highest number of a population. There is not any population in the world, there is no any political organization in the world, no religion in the world, that they have 1.6 million people. So football. But with all the Olympics, it is so important that sport is not only winning or losing, participating or not participating. It has now, but before coming to the politics, it has taken an explosive importance in economic matters. Mm-hmm. It's incredible what sport and what football is doing in economy. And naturally then it has, obviously, if you are in social, cultural and economic part, then you are touching not only with your hand, but with part of your body you are touching politics. And we must be very careful to not interfere in politics, but politics interferes in FIFA. For instance, the attribution of the World Cup to Qatar has been by political intervention from the French political president. Yeah. But coming back to your question, but sometimes politics can help us to solve a problem. Yeah. And that's the case between Israel and Palestine, where the Congress has said, we cannot solve it, we ask the United Nations. So we ask them to help, and they gave the solution. But if we ask help, we shall apply the resolution.
Yes. Talking about Qatar, how did Qatar get the right to organize the cup, the World Cup?
Yeah, because they got the highest number of votes when it comes to the voting.
Was it so simple? That's
no, it was not simple, but all big competitions, also the Olympic Games. It is not because somebody would say, I give you a present here or there. It is political intervention, because it is so important nowadays to have the Olympics or to have the World Cup. World Cup is even more important than Olympics. It's the biggest event in the world.
We hear that Qatar paid millions to get the right of organizing.
I don't know that.
I don't know neither. But
I don't know. The only thing I know, and I repeat it, And I repeated in front of France and of Switzerland when investigations were made, and I was called as a person of information. It is the intervention of Mr. Sarkozy towards, towards Michel Platini, at that time UEFA president, recommend him to vote for Qatar, because France has made a big business, and this is known, with the Qatari, and they should vote for Qatar. Not only he, Platini, but also some of his colleagues. And there were 4 votes, and if these 4 votes, they don't go to Qatar, then the World Cup would be in the United States, and then there would not be all these problems which have been there, because for me it would have been something exceptional good, because in the same time we have introduced the handshake for peace. So imagine if the 2 big protagonists in the world, Russia on one side and USA on the other side, they have both the World Cup. And this was not the case. That's why we are in so lot of problems.
You know that the settlements, for example, the Israeli settlements, which is illegal, they play on Palestinian ground now.
I know that.
And this is against FIFA's rules.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, but that's why
the same way it's accepted by FIFA now, today, after
yeah,
you left.
but now today, that's why we have a tribunal arbitral of sport.
Yeah.
If the matter cannot be solved inside the FIFA, but I wonder why all the Arab countries, they should have stood up in the Congress and said no, and the European friends, yes, and all those, they support Palestine. Nobody stood up in the Congress.
They just accepted.
Yeah, they were just there by saying, yeah.
But this is against the law of FIFA.
Yeah, but listen, but there should have been a speaker by saying it's against the law, and all the Arab countries, or then go for all the Muslims shall stand up, or all the blacks stand up, or whatever. But nobody said anything. If you are sitting there and you say nothing, then nothing will happen.
Yes, then the Palestinians are left alone.
They are left alone, and it's not the first time in their history they are left alone.
Not only in sports.
No, yeah, that's why I said that. Yeah. And this bothers me that they are left alone. But they are not alone. I am with them.
You're still with them?
Oh, sure.
To the end. This is great. You said before that you are still the president of the FIFA. But somehow the corruption of the FIFA, this case which we heard repeatedly those years, put you beside. You are beside now. No. I still don't understand this case.
Yeah, but this is a story for 2 days.
Yeah.
We had a contract with Platini.
Yes.
But an oral contract. Yeah. And it's valid. And he worked 4 years for FIFA. But we couldn't pay at that time the value of his contract, because he said, my value is 1 million a year. Yeah. At that time he was, and I accepted that. Well, later on he asked the money, he asked that he would have this money. We said, okay, you can have it. And then the ethics committee came in and said, they said this, they excluded bribery and corruption. They said it's not bribery, corruption. It is, let's say, bad management. Bad management. They say Platter is bad management. But if it's only bad management, then I would be the only. I should have been the only punished, and not the other. So something is wrong there, and that's why I'm going into this matter now, to show that something was wrong at the very beginning. And that's why I'm smiling. My smiling face is coming back, because I'm sure I'm going to win on this side.
Mr. Blatter, seeing the world of football today, how do you read the large picture? What is the future of FIFA and where it is heading?
Well, listen, football is an international game, but it is a phenomenon. Because we do not need to make any publicity for our game, because all human beings, when mamas, they give birth to the kids, they don't want to be boxer, they want to be kicker. So everybody wants to kick. So that's an instinctive movement of the human being. Well, that's one thing. The second thing which makes football so attractive is that to be creative. Then we have received, from where we are coming from, we have received 2 legs to be in equilibrium always, and we have our hands, our head, our shoulders to work, to do anything, to create, to speak, to eat, whatever. And when you play football, you cannot use you can only use your legs and not use your hands. You should use your head, but not only the head, to see the game. And when you touch the ball, and you stand up and you touch the ball, you lose your equilibrium. Just touching the ball, you use your equilibrium. So this is really something which is so fantastic in this game. And you cannot use your hands, your arms. It's impossible. That's why all these footballers, when they play and they want to get for the ball, they are artists. And you see in the pictures, they are all artists, because they have never with both legs on the field. Otherwise you cannot play. And this is what makes this game so attractive, because it is instinctive and it is absolutely illogical. And it is just the ball. The ball is the globe, and the globe is always in movement, and the ball also. And then is something else. You have a goal in your life, a goal, which is an objective. And in football you have this goal. And you remember, or you see football matches, nowadays it's not so easy to get a goal. And it is, every human being has an objective. But in football, also the young, they're starting to play, they have the objective. They put 2 hearts together, or 2 stones, and they say it's a goal.
Yes. For us, it wasn't expensive also.
No, and then for other sports, it's what you say. You play it in the street.
Exactly.
You can play it everywhere. You just need a ball, that's all. And it's so instinctive that they immediately make 2 teams. 2 teams. They don't run like in other sports from left to right. No, they make 2 teams, and always a goal. And it's so easy and not expensive. Yeah. That's it. That's the game for the people. And this game for the people, it must be, there must be some guardians. And the guardians are those of the laws of the game. And here I appeal, and I have already appealed to the guardians of the laws of the game to not use the World Cup as an experimental ground. Well, I am not, I'm not the boss of that, but I give my ideas. But football in future will be even more popular. But the other sports, they are not happy. They are jealous because they take a lot of sponsors and a lot of television. Yeah. Football is such a television program, 2 hours. To a match of football, 2 hours. You don't need any publicity. You need no show, because it's the best show of the earth. Yeah. And the show, you don't know the issue. And you know that it's cheap again. Yes. Even they pay a lot of money for that. But if you will have a show, 2 hours show, you have to pay the showmaster, you have to pay a singer, you have to pay an orchestra, dancers, whatever. No, That's football. And this game goes on. And just here in Zurich, you may say football is, let's say, for poorer people. And Zurich is a rich city. Mm-hmm. There are waiting lists in all clubs in the region. They cannot accept more players, not because they have no balls, but they have no surface. They have no fields, not enough fields. So they cannot take this, and they would play football. But somewhere there will be once you cannot go over. And that's why it's so important to maintain the game. That's so important to maintain the game. Mm-hmm. It is fast now, but don't put too much technology in the game.
Yes, it's a pity somehow to, as you know, the name of FIFA is related somehow to the corruption. Now, after all those years, and there is a kind of contrast, if you want, or contract. It's from one side, it's very cheap to play in the grounds, but there's so much money in FIFA.
No, it's not much money in FIFA. It's much money in football.
Yeah.
And not only in FIFA. FIFA has a lot of money, but it's in football there's a lot of money. And all what is said by the corruption in FIFA, there is no corruption in FIFA. Corruption can only be by personal people. The organization is not corrupt. You cannot say the United Nations are corrupt, but there are people in the United Nations that are corrupt. But not, and all those that the Americans has tried to go against FIFA, it is not, all those they have been arrested, and now they are in the tribunal, in the courts. All what they have done wrongly, they have done it in activities of their confederations and national association, and not FIFA. But FIFA is a good thing, and Blatter was very good. So you say FIFA is Blatter. FIFA is corrupt, Blatter is corrupt.
Yeah.
That's it, what they said.
Yes.
So they condemn, the media, they condemn somebody before going in. Now it changes a little bit.
But excuse me, Blatter now is away, but the corruption is still in the FIFA, don't you think so?
No, there is no corruption in FIFA.
Then?
I have to defend the organization. There is no corruption in FIFA. There is corruption with people. Individuals are corrupted.
Yes.
But I tell you again, all those they have been arrested by the Americans have not been arrested in activities with FIFA. They have been arrested with activities in their region, in the Confederation. But I cannot explain it to you because you're a journalist. And the journalist, once you have an idea, then you say that must be, that's it, it's corruption. It's easy to say corruption. There is no corruption.
Yes.
And I am not corrupt. I'm not accused even of corruption.
Yes.
Nowhere. Only by media.
You said more than once you are still determined to clear your name. Even by the media said a lot about you.
Yeah, but I will only clear my name in the case of my suspension. That's the only, let's say, I am suspended like a player or whatever.
Yes.
I am suspended for 6 years. It doesn't matter because in 6 years I still be a young man. But I am not accused for any bribery or illegal activities, murder or whatever. I'm not accused. I'm just suspended.
Yes. That's all you want to talk about this case?
Yeah, I cannot speak about the case. I'm not involved. All the American case, I'm not involved.
Yeah, yeah.
They tried to involve me, and they have seen that I'm not involved.
Yes. You were said to have listened to Sinatra's My Way, I'll Do It My Way. On the morning of the day you no longer started the day as FIFA president. Any regrets now?
No, I don't regret that I have said I put my mandate at disposal, but I regret that I have not reacted immediately against my suspension.
Yeah.
When I received the paper of my suspension, it was in the afternoon in September 2015. I collected my people around me and I said, listen, let's have a drink.
Yeah.
In 2 or 3 days I'm back. I am back in 2 days. I don't even took anything from my office, not even my safe. I had a safe. I don't open my safe. I said, I will be back in 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
And I never came back. Because instead of having been suspended for a short time, then they made a lot of, that was also politics.
Yes.
But that's what I'm fighting now. That it's only my suspension I'm fighting. I don't need to fight something else because I'm not accused.
Yes. What if you come back to
Palestine can help me.
Yeah.
And they will help me.
Yes.
If
you come back to this period, will you change anything? What will
no,
you do?
Definitely, if now my suspension is lifted, and I hope, more than hope, because there are some arguments, if my suspension is lifted, then I'm still the president.
Yeah.
But I will not come back as president. What
will you do?
I will take a glass of wine and drink a glass of wine.
Mr. Blatter, it was a big pleasure for us. السيد جوزيف بلاتر كان ضيفنا الاستثنائي في هذا اللقاء الخاص من منزله في مدينة زورخ السويسرية. لقاء تمحور حول مجموعة كبيرة من المواضيع على رأسها العلاقة الخاصة لبلاتر مع فلسطين. إذن كان ضيفنا جوزيف سيب بلاتر. أنا دينا أبي صعب أحييكم إلى اللقاء.
شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا.